Hey everyone, Avengers Endgame is, or at least is about to be, the biggest movie of all time. And there are a multitude of moments throughout this movie that pay a lot of fan service and have been building up over the past 11 years that finally get a very big payoff. But there's one moment that parted the Captain America fans like Moses parted the Red Sea. And that's the moment where Captain America, aka Steve Rogers, returns as an old man and passes his shield on to his successor. Now, if you've seen the movie or even just read the title of this video, you'll probably already know who it was, but it really came down to two candidates, Bucky Barnes and Sam Wilson. Now, both have taken the mantle as Cap in the comic books. However, in the MCU, this obviously has not happened, as Chris Evans is the only one to have had the role. So it was really up in the air as to if Captain America died, or rather when he died, who would take up the mantle of Captain America. The first candidate of which is James Buchanan Bucky Barnes. This is Steve Rogers' oldest friends. They've been friends since pre-World Wars, and he was really protecting Steve Rogers back on the streets when he was really skinny, pre-super serum days. So he's his oldest friend. He eventually disappeared and thought to be dead during Captain America the First Avenger. It wasn't until Winter Soldier that he returned as the Winter Soldier, and we found out that Hydra was actually one keeping him alive, and he had now a robotic arm. Eventually they would get him back as Bucky somewhat for the most part, and he would get his old friend back. And then there's Sam Wilson, a pararescueman who helps Cap eventually escape from Hydra and the Winter Soldier. We first meet him as Captain America laps him around the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool in Washington, D.C. He helps him stash him from Hydra for a while, eventually takes on the persona of Falcon, and kind of becomes Cap's sidekick for the most part, not only in Winter Soldier, but all throughout the remainder of the Avengers movies, and he himself would become an Avenger. So when Avengers Endgame came out and it was time to pass that torch, or rather the shield, onto Captain America's successor when Chris Evans comes back as Old Man Cap on the side of that lake, we didn't really know who was going to be taking up the mantle. There were two that were standing there. So eventually we find out, and Bucky actually tells Sam to go and talk to him first and get the advice from Cap and talk to him. So this got me thinking, what made Sam so much more worthy of taking on Cap's legacy than Bucky? And why would Bucky tell Sam to go talk to Old Man Cap on the side of the lake rather than go and talking to his oldest friend? And it turns out it's actually pretty simple when you think about it. It comes down to a total of 10 words put in a sequence that, when put together, cause a certain event to happen. And that's exactly what makes Sam much more worthy than Bucky. It's simply because Sam is not as corrupt as Bucky is. Bucky became the subject of a Hydra experiment in which he was essentially given that sort of super soldier serum, kind of as Captain America was, but completely manipulated and warped in a different way to be for bad rather than good. In other words, he became a weapon. Not only did he become that weapon that was so dangerous to everyone, but he also became a liability to Captain America and the Avengers as a whole, not including society in general, which is why he had to send him and stash him in Wakanda for the most part after Civil War, and kind of just get Bucky's mind right, rather than having him loose in society, having people come after him and being in danger to himself and to plenty of other people. Sam, on the other hand, has been a reliable ally to both Cap and the Avengers, and has his unwavering loyalty to both parties. And of course, the downside to Sam becoming Captain America, and this is where the main argument as to why he shouldn't be Captain America comes in, is that he's essentially just a normal guy. Sam essentially only has access to a specialized backpack with wings and uses semi-automatic handguns in order to fight the bad guys. There's nothing really super or special about Sam other than he's loyal and a paratrooper. But then that too got me thinking, maybe that's what makes Sam the best candidate for Captain America. He's actually a normal person that could have real problems and that people can relate and connect with. That was one of the biggest problems with Captain America, at least in my mind. Although he is one of my favorite characters of the MCU, Captain America has only a few problems, and most of which are very hard to address. Mainly which being he's a man out of time, because he was frozen and then sort of unfrozen to come and help with the Avengers initiative. And then he sort of just has this issue where he misses Peggy and all of his friends back from the World War days, and he obviously doesn't have any connection with them anymore because they're dead. So now he's essentially, again, back to that man out of time. He doesn't really have a love interest because he's so much hung up on Peggy in the past, and it's kind of difficult for him to have those real world relationships and connections that maybe Sam, who's always been present in modern day, can actually have and experience. On the other hand, if Bucky had taken up the mantle of Captain America, it would be a lot more of the same thing. He has a lot of the same background, a lot of the same era that he's from, a lot of the conflicts that the people that he know and love are no longer alive, that he's essentially, again, a man out of time. Not only that, but he's very disconnected with a lot of the things that are happening because he hasn't had the experience that Steve Rogers has had, where he gets to go out in the world, make a little list of things that he needs to experience or find out about and learn about. He's just been an assassin, always being trained for various missions and then having his mind wiped. So he's really going to have to go in the same Captain America arc where he has to learn all these things in the modern times all over again. Whereas Sam has been living in the modern times, you can really introduce a lot of interesting things with him, with his background with Riley, his former paratrooper, co-pilot, whatever you want to call him, back in his veteran day or military time that he served. You can go back to that, maybe not necessarily bring him back in the Winter Soldier way. I think that would be a bad idea. But really have that internal conflict or struggle that we can explore a little bit further. Same thing with having a modern day relationship or romantic relationship with a character that may be in the comics, or rather the MCU already, or just maybe a completely new character. We can actually build a love interest rather than always having him hung up on the past and some character that he can never be with again. That really allows room for growth for Sam and a lot of connection that he can have with audiences that Captain America or even Bucky really couldn't have. And I think one more positive that Sam has is that he's basically human. He's just an everyday guy. He can get his ass handed to him. He can bleed. He doesn't have that super serum in him that's going to be able to allow him to have an advantage over the bad guys. We can connect with him. He can take up the mantle of Captain America. He can have those relationships and that sort of internal struggle of how he's going to take up the Captain America mantle and follow up from Steve Rogers as his time as Cap, and how he's going to really fulfill that role and how he's going to be different but also be true to what that character, to what that symbol means to the world. That internal conflict can be really interesting. And I feel like by him having those internal struggles, those external struggles, as well as to possibly getting his ass handed to him in a fight with a bad guy because he's just a normal guy, that we can root for him if he gets knocked down. Yes, we root for Captain America when he gets knocked down, but we know he's always going to get back up. Sam Wilson, we don't know if he's going to get back up. We can only root for that struggle. He's going to have to really dig deep in order for him to get up to fight that bad guy. And that's what audiences root for, is that underdog character. And that's what gives Sam so much more of an advantage over Bucky in the long run. So whether fans like it or not, I think that Sam Wilson is the best character to take over the Captain America moniker and eventually become that full-fledged character, be that honorary character to what Steve Rogers did with that symbol, with that iconic red and white and blue. What is that he can take from that and grow into that character? And also that internal struggle of how can he be different? What can he do? What choices will he make that Steve wouldn't have made? There's a lot of interesting conflicts there, and I think we can kind of explore not only that, but also that back and forth of why me and not you sort of struggle, I guess, between Winter Soldier and Falcon in the upcoming Winter Soldier and Falcon series that's going to be on Disney+. I believe it's filming later this year, if not already. So that's going to be up on the platform. So I think that would be a great storyline to explore in that upcoming series. That would definitely make Disney Plus worth subscribing to, just so we can find out some of those smaller moments between the characters that we don't get to see in these big events on the screen. So those are my thoughts, but I want to know, what do you guys think? Do you think Sam should have gotten the shield and taken up the mantle as Captain America? Do you think it should have gone to Bucky? Do you think it should have gone to some other character that maybe was not either in the MCU or has yet to be in the MCU, that maybe already there that should have taken over? I don't know. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to hear them. But other than that, that's all I really have for now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.